Hi, this video is sponsored by Profanity, because if you maybe you can grind it all around before the inside of it and turn it inside out. Alright, you bunch of gooners. I didn't do it. I've got to get up. Your dad's gonna tell you never to give up. I'm your other dad. I'm the dad on your other shoulder, and I'm telling you, give up when you feel like it's right. You'll feel it deep down on the inside when you should just take all of your dreams and just cast them away to the wind, because it's just not worth it. It's not worth your sanity. It's not worth your time after a certain point. Of course, what am I talking about? Surely I'm talking about something. He's holding something in his hand. Maybe it has something to do with that. It's a red cartridge. Is it Spider-Man for the Nintendo 64? No. Even better? Worse? I don't know. It's Rocket, a robot on wheels. My last two videos, of course, have featured Rocket Robot on Wheels. If you haven't seen those, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. But this is going to be the official review, and I would love to be one of those gamers that played the whole game. It's just like, oh my god, and the nuance of the last hour of the game was so subtle that like you really made you appreciate all of the this and the I'm not me. It's not in me. I ain't got that dog in me. Okay? I tried. I really did. I tried. I tried to play this game. If you want to get to the actual heart of it, it's a platformer for the Nintendo 64. It came out in 1999 by Ubisoft. The studio that made it is called Sucker Punch. Like I said, it's a platforming game. The premise behind it's pretty straightforward, like a lot of platformers. You are an assistant robot named Rocket, and your facially obscured master leaves you in charge while they go to the party. What you're left in charge of is, I guess, all of the resources left behind for the theme park that your boss is about to open up, starting Whoopi the Walrus and was it Rigby the raccoon? Something, I don't know. Raccoon's ridiculous. All right, what he does is immediately stab his boss in the back, and then he's like, no, this isn't going to be about Whoopi the raw walrus. It's going to be all about me. Because he's just a dumb, fat sea animal, and I'm an intelligent creature with thumbs. You ever seen a raccoon's hands? They're very grabby. I don't know if they could actually write out a little plan and make it, but they do. That's when all hell breaks loose. The raccoon hits the sea mammal over the head, and then I think he hits Rocket over the head, and then everybody's unconscious, and then he goes through a teleporter, and then they go down. They're going to steal the theme park, and you've got to go after them, and so that's what you do. Now, level 1, it's like a lot of 64 platformer games. It's a hub style where you start in one place, and then you get to branch out to go to all the other places. The only difference in some of the more simpler games, and we've seen this before, is as you progress, you unlock abilities that will help you, that you need to play later parts of the game. There's not a long list of weapons. You have no real weapons. You do get to kill enemies with a move called Tackle that you use your tractor beam. That's your only really ability, is you're a robot, and it's robot on wheels, which pisses me off because there's really only one time you're on wheels, and that's because you're in a go-kart. You, the robot, have one wheel. All right, and I know I've talked about this, and I'm going to keep talking about it because he only has one wheel. Now, who would develop a jumping apparatus with the stability of a unicycle? It doesn't make sense, all right? But even given that technological limitation, then you're left with the tractor beam, which you have no arms because those are a pain to animate. So the scientific mastermind behind you that decided to build artificial intelligence as a helper and then turn around and market that into theme parks. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't have to. He has a robot with a tractor beam, and then that tractor beam has a handful of powers. The first one you get is, of course, Tackle. You can grab an enemy, and then he does a little front flip, and he can slam them on the ground and break them open, and you can get health from them, and it's pretty great. we'll get into more of the other powers as we progress through the levels. You start off and you go to Clowney Island. Now, Clowney Island, in my opinion, is the only place that actually looks like a theme park. It's pretty neat. You get to, there's a giant T-Rex. You get to build a roller coaster. You get to race a go-kart. You get to go around the beach under the boardwalk. There is a fun house kind of platformy maze sort of thing that's filled with bees for some reason. And then there's an arcade that has 3 games. You got your tic-tac-toe, you got your President Apple Mouth catch game, and then you've got your the other one where you throw the balls and hit the fuzzy clouds. It's fun. It's a good time. It's fun. I'm telling you, the first one is fun. But just like a drug dealer, the first one's always free. Alright, now that level exists like all the other levels exist. The whole point of the thing is you're supposed to collect I believe it's 7 parts of a machine, put them all together, and you activate that level. You also need a certain number of tickets sometimes to be able to get to later parts of another level. You really have 3 collectibles. You've got the 7 pieces of robot. You've got tickets that are lettered. So there's a finite number. Well, there's a finite number of everything. But you've got these tickets that are lettered, and you collect those throughout the level after doing various platforming challenges. Super fun. And then scattered everywhere are these little Tinker tokens that are like currency, but not. Now, what you use the Tinker tokens for is you're going to trade them with the repairman to upgrade your abilities. That's how we got the tackle somersault move, which you have to be able to progress, because you have to use it to break a key coated in ice so that you can get to the rest of the game, the actual central hub. Because Clowney Island is in this weird standoff by itself spot, then everything else is in the center around this giant statue of Whoopi the Walrus. The first place that you're probably going to stop after that is Paint Misbehavin'. And to me, that was pretty fun. You get to drive a little tank that shoots paint water balloons, and there's colored puzzles. That sounds offensive. There are puzzles referring to color, okay? They're puzzles of color. They're fine. It's weird how simplistic those are, and then how complicated later on the platforming is. Of course, maybe that's just matching puzzle. Oh, you get to do a color matching puzzle where you see a guard that says you have to match me, and you have to figure out how to dip Rocket into various dyes so that he'll match his color, and it involves mixing colors, which is super fun. It'd be neat if you got to keep that color, but the first thing you do after you leave is you jump into a pool of water that rinses it all away. I wish messes could be cleaned so easily. But like the mess of this game, they cannot. Progress into more of a watery stage where once you activate that machine, you collect all the machine parts, which actually I found something that's one of the game's only few true system drawbacks, which is because of the limitations of the Nintendo 64's polygon count, sometimes it would just choose not to render something that you totally should have been able to see. There is no fog of war or tight corridors to keep things rendering out of your line of sight. Sometimes they just don't exist, and then they do exist. And I got stuck on Paint Misbehavin' for a little while because I couldn't find one of the machine parts. Well, it turned out I just didn't get close enough to where it was, and then after consulting a guide on the internet, I found it, and it just appeared while I was within 100 feet. So after you activate that machine, it turns on some kind of water pump, and it floods the place, and then you get to do a race where you get into the machine of like a dolphin. And it's the worst thing ever. It turns slower than I think Grandma in a Jazzy does. And then you have to there's also, every level seems to have a ring race, which if you've played any 64 games, at least since Superman 64, you're going to be very familiar with the ring races. I don't know who at Nintendo corporate was just like, you know what people in the 3D world really want is to go through rings. It's, I guess, ever since Star Fox. They did it in Star Fox, and they were like, people love this, we should put this in everything. Listen, I'm getting off track here. After you get through Paint Misbehavin' and you manage to get enough tickets to progress to the next part, you're going to go on to a place called Mind Blowin'. All right, that's where you actually you get like almost a semi cut scene where the raccoon is all, you need to leave me alone. Why don't you go fall down a mine shaft? And that's what you do. You fall down a mine shaft, and it introduces a new element, which are bombs. You will use your tractor beam to pick up bombs and throw them in the direction of breakable obstacles, all kinds of stuff. The tricky part is that you are using a tractor beam which floats it at a distance away from you. Get too close to the wall, it blows up. As soon as you grab one, the bomb dispenser waits a second and then it spits out another bomb. If you're still standing there and those two bombs touch, it blows up. You lose life. This one wasn't too bad. I did have to consult. There's some breakable walls and breakable environment situations that make it a little confusing because sometimes it's hard. It's not like the old Legend of Zelda days where you could be like, that wall looks a little different. I'm gonna try throwing a bomb at it. It's 60. It's old 3D 64 graphics, so it's like that wall looks a little clippy. Oh, that's normal. That's just bad graphics. That wall looks a little clippy. Oh no, you're supposed to blow that part apart so that you can get this ticket, so that you have enough tickets. By this part of the game, you start getting to where you need X number of tickets to get to the next part of the game. The next part of the game is going to be Arabian Flights. Now, Arabian Flights was pretty fun. By this time, you should have acquired a freeze ray, which is its own challenge, and I will talk about that in a minute. And then you'll acquire a grapple ability, which is just your tractor beam, except for it you can aim it and it goes out a little farther. Sometimes it seems to work sometimes, and then sometimes it doesn't. There's also a double jump boost in there that of course doesn't work on the water because the double jump jets can't take it, and it is the weakest double jump you can possibly imagine. It's not even a full second jump in my personal opinion. And it's mostly just aggravating. I have seen some online playthroughs that are just insane, and I talk about this in the other video of the last section that I got stuck in, about how frustrating it is to be so bad at something and to watch something else, which then I later read was assisted by tools. I don't know what that means. But you could grab on this double jump and then grab onto something with your grapple and then double jump again off of that. Anyways, I'm not at that level, and I'm done trying to pretend that I am. Arabian Flights, and that's the place where you're probably going to be able to use this fancy new freeze ray, because there's certain parts that you're going to have to free. When you use your freeze ray, it only counts for one aspect of the game. You make these tiny little glaciers in the water, and then they melt within a second. Maybe they last two full seconds, and so you can make it and then jump on it and then make another one and then jump on that, and you have to create these bridges. Now they float in the water, so if there's any current they move around, and they are very top heavy, so they love to have you just roll right off of them. Now keep in mind, this is a wobbly platform that only lasts a couple seconds, and you are a robot trying to balance on a wheel. Hilarity indeed ensues. Now that was the first time I thought I was going to go crazy, because I came across an ice puzzle that I was having a lot of trouble with. I tried to do a recording on it, and then for some reason I managed to get through it. Whatever. We all learn. After I got enough tickets there, I managed to have enough tickets to get to the next section. The next section takes you out of this hub area, and then you get to go to the raccoons' vision of their own theme park, which is just like a weird jungle with a giant pyramid. The level is called Pyramid Scheme. You have to take a weird teleporty elevator in order to get to it. It's cool. There's some interesting puzzles that I did manage to take care of, but there's only like 3 puzzles you can do in the initial jungle level. And then you have to collect all the pieces of the machine So the machine will flip the level. I guess it makes the volcano explode. That's what the guide told me. I didn't watch any videos or anything on that because I wanted to see it for the first time myself. Well, I never got to see it, and I'll probably never get to see it. Because to collect all the parts of the machine, you should watch my other video to see what I couldn't manage to do. You have to go through a series of platforming obstacles, all of which are time limited, and then it flips the whole level over, and from that level of a volcano erupting, and there's lava everywhere, the floor is lava, from that level you get to collect enough of your tickets, and then you have to collect up to 65 tickets to get to the next portion after that. Well, I didn't have enough tickets, and I didn't have enough patience, and I didn't have enough time, and I just didn't have enough. That doesn't mean that I'm not enough. It means that I'm just sick of playing the game. Now, that's just me. I'm not a platform guy. I wanted to give this game a shot because I really thought it had a lot of character, and I still agree with that. I played it mostly on mute with a podcast in the background because the music is a little repetitive and obnoxious. Every time he double jumps, I think he gives a little woohoo. I'm not listening to that, are you? Are you going to listen to that? You can't make me listen to that. I'm not going to make you listen to that. But as far as platformers go, if you like 3D platformers and you like 64 3D platformers, it is better than a lot of other games out there. It comes in the bright red cartridge. I haven't seen this one out there, and I go thrifting a lot. So if you spot one you want a challenge, it comes and goes. It ramps up pretty evenly. My only real critique of the gameplay is probably, it seems on a technological level, just like I was talking about earlier with the polygons, one of the things that you will run into in this game is the camera angle. In 3D lore, they were still trying to figure out what to do with this thing. Sometimes they make your guy invisible and they just zoom in because there's a wall in the way, or sometimes they make the wall invisible, or this or that. Well, this guy right here, one of the choices they made is that some of the camera positions are fixed. You do have a look around option where you can be first person and see anywhere you want to at any given time. But in the normal platforming play option, that doesn't work. The camera will shift. Maybe it wants to zig when you want to zag. Some people are fine with that. I have a serious problem with it. It's hard for me to get the depth perception to make the jumps to get to the next part of the next level. And it was a hard thing to get used to. You have some control over it, but instead of shifting your camera angle, it feels more like picking from a pre-selected camera angle of the game's choice. And that's not what anybody wants. I don't know, maybe it's what you want. I'm not trying to judge you, not for that anyway. There's so many other things you've given me to judge you for. But that's it. Rocket Robot on Wheels. I give it 3 out of 5 skulls on the 1308 Scareometer John Cusack scale. If you don't know what that is, you probably don't personally remember 9/11. Anyway, I've been AJ this entire time. We'll see you later. Don't goon in front of your sister.